I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. As I take you to 7 o'clock, get you ready for the rest of your evening. It has been crazy out on Media Row down in Vegas. We're going to take a look back at some of the better moments from today, like the Blitz interview with Sean Merriman, as that opened up a whole can of worms. It's hard to argue with Sean Merriman's logic when it comes to it. Also, earlier this morning, Brian Billick, a Super Bowl winning head coach, he joined the morning huddle. So listen to him about the game, the evolution of offense, and where the league is heading into the future right now, and quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy, and going to be good stuff. But I wanted to touch on yesterday. We heard the news that Cliff Kingsbury was going to be the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, and that Eric Bieniemy was essentially out of a job. And I think it's brilliant. I think the Cliff Kingsbury hire to Washington is brilliant on a multitude of fronts. One, they may be trying to get Caleb Williams, they may not, whatever the case may be with that. But I just look at what I've told y'all for the majority of this year. When it came to Dan Quinn's defense, the identity of that team, it was a front-running team. And I didn't mean it in a bad way. I meant it in a way that the defense was built as such that you get up on a team early and unleash the defense on the opposing offense, and everything snowballs downhill and becomes a mess. And we saw it work to perfection for the Cowboys at a multitude of times this season. Where it didn't work is when they got hit in the face first. Cliff Kingsbury runs a pretty wide open offense, whether it was at Tech, whether it was at USC with Caleb Williams, whether it was at Arizona. I think if they're going to do this, and Dan Quinn is the head coach, and they're going to be running his defense there, get up early on them and let them unleash. Cliff Kingsbury, go score points. That's your job. Your job is to go put as many points on the board as you can. This isn't about resting the defense. This is about allowing the defense to tee off. And so I think that's a perfect pairing for the Commanders. It's going to be very interesting with so many Cowboy threads through the NFC right now, East right now. You've got the Commanders with Dan Quinn, Joe Witt Jr., and then with the Eagles, you're going to have Kellen Moore on offense, who is another variable of let's put points on the scoreboard, run the clock, be damned. So what's Kellen's offense going to look like with a quarterback like Jalen Hurts? Because I'm not used to seeing a lot of the RPO game out of Kellen's offense. I don't know if he has some of that he could incorporate. He just hadn't for whatever reason with the quarterbacks that he's been dealt to this point. But that's going to be another team that I think is going to attempt to jump out in front of people with the way they are going to play stylistically on that side of the ball. Fred Records on our YouTube live feed says Kingsbury can light it up with the right personnel. Of course, you can always comment on the show. 656 ESPN 210-656-3776 if you want to be a part of it. Or, like Fred Records, you can just hit me up in the YouTube chat. Go to sasportstar.com at sasportstar on our YouTube channel. Drop a comment, throw it up on screen, read aloud. Yeah, Kingsbury can score. And that Dan Quinn's defense is really good at playing with a lead and being able to wreak havoc on a team that becomes one-dimensional because the team's made them that. So it could be a very perfect pairing when you talk about Cliff Kingsbury and the Washington Commanders. Another team that's probably going to look to score a lot. Kellen Moore and the Philadelphia Eagles all of a sudden put some points on the board. Does that make the defensive coordinator hire even more pertinent for the Dallas Cowboys and for Mike McCarthy and his job safety? It's going to be very interesting to see how these things play out because McCarthy going into the final year of his deal, Dak going into the final year of his deal. Coldfinger 123 says, not in Atlanta. He let that league go. Sure. He absolutely did. He also didn't have the personnel that he had in Dallas. And to that fact, even the Commanders have better personnel defensively. He never got a great pass rusher in Atlanta to be able to unleash. But he's got some defensive tackles that are going to be nightmares sitting in the middle there. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does and how he builds that defense out and what they do in the draft. I mean, the NFC East could look completely different next year in terms of first, you get the right quarterback in place with Cliff Kingsbury. You get that defense turned around real fast. I'm not saying that it's out of the realm of possibility that the Commanders could jump up towards the top of the division next year. As for the Giants, I have no clue what's going on with that team. I just pray for Saquon Barkley's sake he doesn't get franchise tagged. Goldfinger 123 is asking what my prediction for games won and lost on the Commanders is. Too early to tell right now. I don't know what they've done in the draft, what they're going to do in free agency, how they're going to fill out this roster, which quarterback they're taking at number 2 overall, or if they're even staying at number 2 overall. There are a lot of variables before I cross that bridge later in the season. But I'm said that there is a path to which I could see that team getting better quickly. They have a lot of cap space. These things matter. They can turn things around very, very quickly if they make the right moves. Whether they make the right moves or not remains to be seen. I'll have to let that play out here over the next couple of months. The Eagles, they could be the 10-1 team we saw. They could be the team that finished out the season with a below 500 record. I mean, that feels like the ultimate crapshoot right now. I don't know whether to make heads or tails of the Philadelphia Eagles for next season and what that offense will look like with Kellen Moore at the helm and Jalen Hurts at quarterback. I do know that Cowboys offense does look pretty good with Dak Prescott, at least in the regular season. Defensively, I don't know what they're going to be, though. So it may be very, very important with the types of offenses that are coming into the NFC East to really knock this defensive coordinator hire out of the park. If you plan on keeping McCarthy and Dak Prescott around or competing for a championship game or a Super Bowl next year. Some of you may just want to see the whole thing burn to the ground for 1 year to finally pull the plug on both to where you can start anew next season. Is that the path they should take? I know one person who quite possibly thinks that the end of the line could or should be near for Dak Prescott. Sean Merriman joined the Blitz a little bit earlier today. I'm going to play that for you next, live from Media Row earlier this afternoon. Sean Merriman, great stuff on Dak Prescott and the future of the Dallas Cowboys and how they should attack this thing if they're Jerry Jones. That's coming up next here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Sports Star boys are in Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Robin, RJ, and Jason and Joe are in Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Yeah,
woo!
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here!
Not up in here!
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergen X, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
My name is John Clay Wolf, and I'm the CEO of GiveMeTheVin.com, and I love to buy cars. And I love the system we built to buy your car. It is quick. It is fast. If you've got your license plate number, you can just go to GiveMeTheVin.com, stick it in there. 45 seconds, you're in and out. You'll have a number. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer, where we love to buy cars.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Show your love this Valentine's with exquisite fashion jewelry from Diamonds Direct and save an extra 20%. Now through Valentine's, all fashion favorites at Diamonds Direct are on sale. All earrings, all bracelets, all necklaces, stackable bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and more. Lots of romantic and timeless gifts for under $500. Special financing available too. Don't miss this. An extra 20% savings on all fashion jewelry favorites at Diamonds Direct. Shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just call 800-NEW-WINDOWS for your free consultation on top-quality, affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS right now. Don't wait. Call 800-NEW Windows. 800-NEW Windows.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's James Spudger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative and non-surgical drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain from arthritis or injury. Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics' advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk, run, play, and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
We are down to the big game in the football season, and you could still play along at Underdog Fantasy. Jason Minix here from the Blitz. I love playing the pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy, where you pick between 2 and 5 players and select whether they will go higher or lower their predicted stats. And if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. It is a fantasy game that is legal in Texas and certainly makes watching the games a lot more fun. Get in the game now. Go to their easy-to-use mobile app or go to Underdog UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100, and you're ready for the big game. Plus, they'll give you a special pickup higher than a half total yards to use on your first pick'em entry. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code STAR. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
What's wrong, Cupid?
Chris, I've lost my mojo. These arrows just don't work like they used to. The facts are people fall in love thanks to Connecticut, not poor old Cupid.
You don't say.
Oh, absolutely. Look over there. She's got silky smooth hair thanks to a Connecticut water softener. He's got softer skin and cleaner clothes, and now they're all lovey-dovey. Makes me sick.
Don't feel bad, Cupid. You still have your bow and arrow.
I'll rub it in, Chris. I know a Connecticut runs on kinetic energy like my bow and arrow. There's no computer to break. A Connecticut has it all.
This is Chris Canepa with Connecticut and San Antonio in the Hill Country. There's a reason people love their Connecticut. Right now, I'll let you try one for 90 days, absolutely free with no contract. Just call 656-PURE.
You know, you're right, Chris. I love my Connecticut, too. My diaper has never looked so white. And my wings, oh, I look good.
Cupid, you can always come to work for me.
You serious, Chris?
But you're going to have to wear pants.
ConnecticutSA.com.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage in Las Vegas continues. Brought to you by Southern Recipe, Small Batch Pork Rinds, and Synergenics. And, Joe, I've been waiting to talk to Sean Merriman since, I don't know, the bet against the Green Bay Packers because they didn't have a linebacker. So I wanted to get a linebacker's perspective on what the hell was Dan Quinn thinking. Sean Merriman joining us here on Radio Row. Man, how's your Tuesday?
It's good, man. Not as good as you guys. I didn't have to be here as early. So, I'm just hitting that coffee run right now, so I'm in good shape.
Well, you are in good shape. Looks like you could still play. If Mike McCarthy calls you, you think head down to Dallas, you can fill that linebacker?
No, not if they're going to keep me on the line of scrimmage like Mike. All
right. Dan Quinn's now the head coach of Washington.
Yeah.
He did great in Dallas. And as a Cowboy fan, I'm mixed because the last couple of games and then that playoff game, that defense wasn't historically great like they had a chance to be coming into this season. One of the knocks is the undersized linebackers. And when Leighton Vander Esch got hurt, they were gone. People that maybe not quite as informed. Well, they tried to make Marquise Bell a safety, a linebacker. They did that in training camp. It's not like, hey, somebody's hurt. Can you do this? That was the plan all along. You're a linebacker, and you're certainly not undersized. What were they think when you see that? Does it piss you off as a linebacker?
I think this. There's not a problem having undersized linebackers if you don't beef up that interior D-line. That's the only way to hide them.
Yeah.
If you got the undersized. And Vander Esch going down, he was a thumper. Guy that can go lay the wood to any ball carrier, go up and fill the gaps. He's a big presence inside. They've always had guys who can go and do it. I mean, Lee wasn't that big of he wasn't huge. He was just a smart player, and he was always around the football. But what they had interior D linemen to keep him away from people being in his face. That's the goal. The fact is they didn't address that. That to me was the biggest issue. Having Micah Parsons on one side of the line of scrimmage, you keep him there where people know where he's lining up at. I didn't approve of that. We got a guy as dynamic as he is. He can do it so much. You put him in the middle of the field, you let him blitz down the A or B gap, but down the center, and then you bring him off the edge. You never let an offense know where he's coming because he's too dynamic of a player. If somebody can line up and say, hey, by the way, Micah Parsons is going to be here, you got to make those adjustments, and I think that's where they failed.
Sean, I've got to ask you, because in that last game, when specifically, obviously we're Cowboys country and very disappointed about the Packers playoff game. It looked like the defense, and I'm not asking you to put blame on anybody, but it looked like they were just simply out-coached big time. I mean, they weren't in the right spots. The Packer receivers were everywhere. Have you ever seen a team or been involved in a game like that where the defense just looks lost?
Yeah, it seemed like the Cowboys defense was on their heels the whole entire game. They couldn't get a jump start. They couldn't, they were getting hard count, a quick count. Wasn't in the right position. Guys wasn't lined up yet when the ball was hiked. I mean, it was a lot of chaos that was going on. It seemed like a chess match that the Green Bay Packers won because everything they did, they dialed up against whatever the Cowboys had planned on that defensive play, and they couldn't catch up. It was almost like those first 15 plays, it was scripted for Green Bay, and those first 15 plays, it was scripted for Dallas. Got thrown right out the window quick, right? And they just were on their heels the entire game.
When you go coverage like what Dan Quinn was doing, and guys are still wide open, and you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, to have it all completely fail like that on one particular Sunday, do you just chalk that up to a bad game or at the worst possible time, or is that really something internal that the Cowboys have to figure out and address?
They gotta address that. And I'll tell you this, because they got a talent-wise defense, they're loaded. I mean, Lawrence, if you look across the board outside of even Micah, the cornerback position, I know that Diggs went down, but the other guy stepped right up and play extremely well. They're loaded with talent. So when you got talent, now you just got to put those guys in position to win. And what happened against Green Bay, it just seemed like a lot of those guys was not in position to win. And by the way, if you can't line up and just and man up across the board, and your guys up front can't be the one-on-one block, or you need to do whatever, then start throwing exotic blitzes, start throwing packages in there, because they're not getting to the quarterback anyway. You're getting beat with no pressure, and then guys are lost in coverage. You got to win at something, right? They're going to scorch you regardless. So as a defensive coordinator, you go out and look at this game. You say, look, we got to start bringing up strong safeties. We got to start doing stuff and just go hell-bent for election, because we know that we're not getting no pressure and we're lost in coverage. We don't have extra guys in coverage anyway. So we got to win some battle somewhere, and they just didn't make those adjustments.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, because obviously we're at the Super Bowl. You got a quarterback matchup that is, completely different. Patrick Mahomes, one of the best to play the game. The guy's incredible. Brock Purdy, still trying to get the respect, I think. I don't think he gets a lot of respect. When you look at a guy like Dak Prescott, who had a great regular throw off the chart, but it seems like when the bright lights go on, something happens. What's your thought there?
I think that a lot of people put Dak Prescott in the category of being elite. I never thought that he was elite. I always thought that he was above average. He was a good quarterback. When you give him tools, a CeeDee Lamb, you give him a tight end, you give him Pollard plus. I know they didn't have a 1-2 punch this year necessarily, but Pollard, and then when they had Zeke back there, they had a 1-2 punch. You give him a great defense, Micah Parsons, Diggs, you give him tools, he's going to go out and win games. It's the games that matter, the teams that's above 500 in critical situations, that Dak Prescott, in my opinion, will not get over. He doesn't have that factor to get them over the hump when it comes time. Now, the problem is that he's so good in the regular season, you can't really move on from him. Because you got to get somebody coming in the door that's going to be better than him than the regular season, and there isn't one. And in fact, if he gets a max contract or not, they may have to give it to him, because there's nobody on the street right now, unless they decide to go draft, that's going to have a better regular season than Dak Prescott. So I feel bad for Jerry Jones. And and this is another thing about Jerry Jones. A lot of people want to give him, a lot of slack for being the GM and having all this. He put together a great team, paper-wise, talent-wise. Yeah. Coaching staff with Dan Quinn, he actually assembled a great team, and I never saw Jerry Jones go out there and drop a pass or miss a tackle, right? And so I know he's always going to get a lot of flack for having too much control. But if you look at the standpoint of him being upstairs in the front office, the team that they assembled actually was a great team.
Sean, as you say that, as we visit with Sean Merriman here on at Radio Row, you're right. I don't disagree. Dak is a great regular season quarterback. I use the term playoff Prescott. That's not a good thing. 2-5. What did the Cowboys do? And you just said it. How do you replace them for the regular season? But if the goal is to win the Super Bowl, when do you make the decision? It's time to say, regular season success is nice, but our goal isn't to win 12 games every year and go on vacation after the first playoff game. How do you, from a NFL organization standpoint, say he's great in the regular season, sucks in the playoffs? We've got to move on from him.
I personally will move on for Dak Prescott. I would. Because, and this is why, because of what the Cowboys and the history of what the franchise is, being America's team and championship or nothing, right? I mean, that's the mentality it is. And for Dallas Cowboys fans, that's the mentality of Jerry Jones and everybody in the organization. And Dak Prescott would be an upgrade for the Atlanta Falcons. He would be an upgrade for the Vegas Raiders. He'll be an upgrade for 6 or 7 other teams. Right now, he instantly makes them better by going to the organization. We've already seen what Dak Prescott can do with the Cowboys. So how many times you want to run that back before you say, hey, maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe he can't get us there. And so even if the regular season isn't as great as Dak Prescott, and this is me. The Cowboys fans would never agree to this.
No, you're wrong. I wish you'd come on the show every day. I got to argue with this guy about this every day.
I mean, it's depressing as hell hearing you say that, my friend. But at the same time, sometimes truth hurts.
It's one of these things that I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, a really good quarterback. He's just not elite. Mm-hmm. And so if you already seen what you get out of Dak Prescott, what else can happen? Okay, say you only win 9 games, right? This time around. 8 games, whatever. You're getting put out the playoffs anyway with Dak Prescott, so why not go and try to see what else is out there to see if you can move on? And if that's drafting somebody or bringing in somebody who you think they can do an equal amount of good job or maybe better, but it's a combination of having a big contract that's on the table right now, max contract, because that's what he's going to ask for. That's what the market dictates for a franchise quarterback right now. So now you're giving somebody that that doesn't have the capabilities of winning you a ring, a max contract, and now you're sitting back to see what happens again. And I think that as much as the Dallas Cowboys fans love their team, I think that is what would get them off of the wagon. Sitting back, knowing what you get out of Dak Prescott, giving him a max contract, and either don't make the playoffs or make the playoffs and get booted in the first round, and that will finally do it for the Dallas Cowboys fans, in my opinion.
Wow, that's good advice, and I hope he takes that, Sean. That's good. I got to ask you about
I think it was the best move. Not only for the Chargers, I think for Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers having, the relationship he had, he played there. He knows Spanos family, know the ownership, very familiar with the team. He loved Justin Herbert to death. He's been vocal about that for a long time now. And then vice versa, he was looking to make that jump to the NFL anyway. So what better position can you be in making a jump from college football to the pro? You walk in with a franchise quarterback already. You're walking into a Derwin James, a Khalil Mack, a Keenan Allen. I mean, it doesn't. Coaching vacancies don't happen that way. You got a rebuilding year, right? You got to try to figure out for a couple of years, right? They can go and win games right now. So if he was going to make that NFL jump at all, this was the best situation for both sides, the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh.
Sean Merriman joining us here on the Blitz on Radio Row. Of course, a Chargers legend with the nickname Lights Out for obvious reasons. And now, we've talked to you a number of times over the last couple of years about your the fight game that you've got. And it looks like you could get in the ring and fight. But you guys have a big fight coming up on February 16th.
Yeah, huge fight. Probably our biggest and most explosive card we've had in the history of the company. Next Friday, February 16th, in Long Beach, California. We'll be live on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. Got a couple big names up there, guys that had a potential going to the UFC. Alvin Morales, who fought in the UFC, is fighting on his card, trying to get back in the UFC. Tommy Earn, who's Tony Ferguson's guy. We got AJ Hoskins to play linebacker for Oregon. He's from Texas. Down there, he's going to be our first fight of the night, and we're working on transitioning more and more of these former athletes. We're starting to see the crossover, the transition. It's going to happen, and this fight is also special because we're introducing these lights out tech gloves that they can measure speed, power, punch, impact.
Oh, wow.
G-force. So we're actually going to be able to pull some data from these fights to show the punches landed and how fast and how strong they came. Motion caption cameras up top, they can see the movements and how fast they're going. And then the broadcasters being able to talking about it during the live broadcast. So we're incorporating this first time. It's been attempted before in combat sports some years ago. No one's ever really executed on it, but we think we got it.
Fubo TV next Friday night.
Unbelievable.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Sean Merriman, Charger legend. Always great catching up to you, even though this was depressing as hell, man.
I thought it was great, Sean. You come on anytime.
Look, anytime you need to be depressed more, let me know. I'll come
I
back.
got your number, man. We'll do that.
You got it.
Appreciate you,
Appreciate
Sean
it very
Merriman,
much.
here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star as we continue with our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage, brought to you by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Synergenics.
A lot to unpack there from Sean Merriman as he joined the Blitz earlier today, and kind of painting a picture of a way for the Cowboys to possibly move off of Dak Prescott and just try something new, because at the end of the day, Dak Prescott is what Dak Prescott is. Very interesting. Of course, all the interviews you can catch on our YouTube page or at our website, sasportstar.com, and our big game coverage tab. Also, in the audio vault, powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, sasportstar.com. Of course, they bring you the coverage from Radio Row, along with Synergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. I saw earlier somebody asking me about those hot and spices from Southern Recipe Small Batch. They are fantastic. One of my favorites. The other one I tried today, actually really good. Sweet barbecue. Very, very good new flavor from Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. You can find them at HEB. Coming up next, though, Brian Billick talking about the state of quarterbacks in the Super Bowl from a Super Bowl winning coach. Brian Billick, who joined the morning huddle this morning. We'll let you hear that coming up next here on Extra Innings with Pleasure, as we bring you the best from Media Row this morning and every day this week, right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th. Neo Sports Star.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our motto is simple. George gets justice. But what does that mean for you? It means you get an award-winning team of attorneys who will fight for everything taken from you so that you can get back to what matters in life. When we say George gets justice, it's just not a motto. It's a commitment to you. Call us at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson for Tri-County Meat Market, your locally owned full-service meat market. Tri-County has 2 great locations, Keebner Road and Ralph Fair, stocked full of everything you need to up your grilling game. If you're looking for the perfect cut of beef, they've got it. If they don't have it, they'll cut it for you. Roast chicken, prepare foods, they've got it. The 5 for $25 is always in play. If you're a first responder, 10% off the best meat you're going to find. Tri-County Meat Market. Head over to either location, put some good meat on the grill, and thank me later.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor.
Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Former head coach and currently active in the college game, Brian Billick here with us here on San Antonio Sports Star. Good morning, Coach. Glad to have you aboard, man.
Yeah, it's great. Great to be here. Great to be anywhere at this point in my life.
Well, you're staying busy.
Less so than before. I've become obsessed with golf. So
what's the handicap?
If you'll let me, my handicap is pretty much my my 6-iron. If I have to hit that, that's as big a handicap as you have to. You know, I'm about a 13, but that's a cheat like everybody's handicap, right? It's probably really a 17.
I mean, that's much better than I'm kind of faring at this point in time. Coach, you got here. We do something at this hour every day.
Yeah.
We air grievances. And it could be anything in your life.
So let the bad air out to start your day.
It doesn't have to be show-related, although if you have one with us, I mean, we're open to it.
Keep it to yourself.
We can be coached hard. But, like, is there something that's stuck in your craw that, you know, you can add to our grievances?
Yeah, and I can say this, but because I'm from California, okay, native, all right. I came here to Las Vegas, obviously, to visit with people and do that, but I mainly came to play golf. And there again, California screws us and brings all that rain, of all the time to have to bring all that rain in is one more thing California's done to shove it up our backside.
What is it? The Pacific Train? Or
the river, the Pineapple River or something, whatever. But boy, you look at that. It's just L.A. to Las Vegas, and it's knocked out 2 days of my golfing. So.
Are you checking out the Live event this weekend?
I'm not. I'm going to get out of town before it gets real crazy here, but I am going to get on the course one more time.
Smart move, I think. Is there an art form to coaching an all-star game?
You know, there's certainly an experience that you have to understand. When we went to the Super Bowl, I had a number of coaches, Bill Walsh, Dan Reeves, former coaches of mine, that reached out, which I really appreciated, to kind of say, look, here's what you need to think about, because it is a totally different environment. It was great. Dan Reeves said he spent like 45 minutes with me telling me he did this, did that. And he says, you know what, but I haven't won one of these yet, so just do the opposite of what I just told you to do.
Right.
But it really is. It's more experience about the pacing of the week. Obviously, you do just what you do. And that's the main thing you got to get the players. Guys, we know how to do this, right? Practice is the same. The field's the same. The game, once you kick off, but it's everything in between. How do you handle that? And you spend as much time with that on your players as anything.
The Ravens obviously thought that they were going to be in that moment. Maybe John Harbaugh would have hit you up. Obviously, John Harbaugh has done this before, and it felt that way. I think we all burned ourselves potentially. I know I did picking Baltimore. It's really difficult when you feel like it's your year and you feel like in this instance, you've got Kansas City on the ropes and another MVP season for Lamar. And you kind of feel like if it can't go right now, what do the circumstances have to be for it to go right?
And that's the lingering. I mean, yeah, it was a great game, and you give Kansas City credit, and Baltimore was all the things you just said. But that is what it is. Mm-hmm. Going forward, that's the difficulty now as a coach, both as an organization with your team, because you're right. This was prime. This was this was their time to go again, and it didn't happen, as happens in football. And now that can permeate an organization, in terms of, what do we have to do? Are we really that good? You question what you're doing. And that's something that's very real that you have to address.
Looking at in the broader scope of things, we're coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, and obviously Dallas Cowboy land. And we're talking about broad principles and looking at a franchise that's kind of at a pivot point. And when you see a franchise or been a part of that, and you see how you have to change a lot of different things, what's the first thing when you look at a franchise that needs to get moving in a different direction? What's the linchpin move that starts this process?
That's the hard part, because the knee-jerk reaction is you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right. We got to do everything. Well, no, sometimes it's very subtle.
Right.
And you have to begin with the idea that, look, I'm always at, and we're talking about it right now with Kansas City. How hard it is to go back and repeat. It's hard just to win one.
Right.
The things that have to align for you to go to and win a Super Bowl, a lot of it is fate. Obviously, you don't just dismiss it to that, because there's a lot of things you got to do to set yourself up, that you create your own luck, so to speak. But it's a hard process. So Dallas has to look at, they were a good team, just like we talked about with Baltimore. They did a lot of good things, but you got to go back and be very critical about and analyze, okay, is there a little something we need to do? If we got to do a lot of things, then you're talking about a total rebuild. That's a wholly different project. Mm-hmm. But what kept us? What were the strategic things that kept us from getting to the next game? Sometimes it's just they were a better team, or they were a better team that day. Kansas City and Baltimore, I think Baltimore's a better team, if you want to try to quantify it, but not on that day. That's the great thing about this game, that 60 minutes is just long enough, not for the best team to win, but the team that played best. And that's the great thing about the game. But you're right. It for the Cowboys, again, and he's going to do all. I applaud that he kept Mike McCarthy. They'll make some subtle changes along the way, because they were close, and see if, okay, we've got the elements. We got to add a few things here and there that happened during the season, but they're not that far off compared to, you look at a lot of other teams that, boy, there's a lot more to do.
Brian Billick joining us here on the Morning Huddle. And I think, Coach, sometimes fans think, okay, we'll just add this and we get to pick back up where we left off. And you look at the Cowboys or the Ravens, and you have these amazing, Lamar's going to win MVP this week, and it means nothing. And so how hard is it to kind of humble yourself and say, look, we did all these great things. We have all these, things on the wall, and we'll all remember them forever, but we did not get that thing that's on your finger right now. I mean, you do have to, not throw the baby out, but you do have to throw the bathwater out.
You do. And more importantly, you have to give them something to hang their hat on, to say, so this is how we're going to make it different. And beginning with, even with whoever wins this game, the biggest challenge day one, whether it's OTAs or when they get to training camp, is, guys, we are a great team. We've got the pedigree, but we got to start over. Mm-hmm. And that those things, the relationship, the way we work, it's like being married, right? It's not just, well, she knows I love her, I'm good. No, it's you, baby, you better do it every single day. Those little things to keep that connection, build those relationships. Don't just assume. Let's just get through the regular season, because now it's all about the postseason. That's the challenge for someone like Lamar now.
Right.
Is that it doesn't matter next season what you do during the season. That really doesn't matter what happens in the playoffs until you get into this game and win it. You're going to hear that criticism, so you can't rush past the other things thinking, okay, I'm ready to go once we get to that. No, you got to take care of it from day one.
And
That was Brian Billick on the morning huddle this morning, right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Be sure to join Rob and RJ every morning to start your morning. Theirs starts even earlier now that they're in Vegas, 4 o'clock weekday mornings, Vegas time, 6 to 10, right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Coming up next, we'll get you ready for the rest of your day. Hopefully, you are getting close to the end of your day. I know I'm not, but I hope some of y'all are, and y'all get a chance to unwind, relax, and kind of gear up for tomorrow because it is day 3, and the names that are coming tomorrow are going to be massive on the morning huddle. You're going to have Mike McCarthy. No, not that Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy of Front Office Sports. Fantastic insight on things going on around the league. They're also going to have Kalen Kaler and former Falcons head coach Mike Smith on the morning huddle. Then coming up on the Blitz that afternoon, the Moose, Daryl Johnston, will be stopping by tomorrow. They'll have Christian McCaffrey's dad, Easy Ed McCaffrey, Chris Myers, Dahani Jones, and long snapper Joe Cardona, Michael Lombardi, and Mike Golick, all joining the Blitz tomorrow. So be sure not to go anywhere because Radio Row only gets heavier and faster the further along we go in the week. And tomorrow just shows it's picking up yet again. We're going to close out the show, get you ready for the rest of your night, and pop in on that brand new Jose Altuve contract and what it means for the Houston Astros. That's all coming up here on Extra Innings with Pledge on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, we look very closely around the NFL as that jumbo gumbo continues to boil. We're looking close at the Cowboys. They got themselves a new defensive coordinator, and you never know who's going to stop by, RJ.
Andrew Perloff is scheduled to stop by. I think he has a bet surrounding the Spurs, who are back in action tonight. The rodeo road trip begins against the Miami Heat. How's it going to go? We'll talk about it. We start at 6 a.m. Bring the coffee.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Hi, it's Jason Minix from The Blitz. Guys, Synergenics can help conquer your New Year's resolutions. Do you have lack of energy, motivation, and possibly low libido? These could be caused by low T levels. At Synergenics, they specialize in testosterone treatment and make it quick and easy to get your levels checked. And at Synergenics, you will get your results back at your first visit. To book your appointment, go to fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Score big with LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, the MVPs of the field. LS Tractors, the star quarterbacks of farming, perfect for tough tasks for farm, ranch, and landscaping. Dietz Tractors has your all-star coaching staff for top-notch equipment. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships with unmatched dealer support for parts and maintenance. It's a winning strategy that goes beyond the final whistle. Don't miss the game-winning move. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors. Start blue, stay blue at Dietz Tractor in Seguin.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music. News, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Okay, if you love playing fantasy sports like I do, take it to the next level with Prize Picks. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app. This is Rob Thompson, and right now, with the big game around the corner, NBA in full swing, there's no better way to get into the action than with Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections on a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's that easy. You can turn $10 into $250 just like that in 2 taps. I love the easy gameplay, the quick withdrawals, and huge selection of players, the stat options, and more. And check this out. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy platform with injury protection insurance. It'll keep you in the game even if one of your players isn't. It's great. Over 7 million sports fans have already signed up, and I'm one of them. So join me and watch your favorite players and get paid doing it right now. Just download the Prize Pick app and use the code ALAMO. That's ALAMO on Prize Picks for your first deposit. They'll match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate everybody out there for tuning in today. Oh, man, Jose Altuve, going to be an Astro for life. All intents and purposes. 5-year deal, $30 million a year during 2 years of that contract between 25 and 27. The 8-time All-Star in totality going to end up with $125 million over that 5-year extension. Well-deserved, well-earned, and man, my 2 favorite players in Astros history are Craig Biggio and now Jose Altuve. And Altuve is, it's funny, both of them eventually second baseman for the most part. I mean, Biggio kind of played everywhere, started as a catcher, became a great second baseman, and then moved into the outfield as well. So, I mean, it's good stuff. I just want to thank all the listeners. Alexandra, who says, "Oh my God, Moose, can't wait." Yes, be sure to tune in to the Blitz tomorrow. Daryl the Moose Johnson and UFL general manager going to be joining the show. This past weekend, I was at the Angry Elephant and bouncing between there and the Rue Pub like I do, and a listener recognized me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate David Reyes, who says that I should be in Vegas on Radio Row. I appreciate all of y'all that tune in, that listen. Never be afraid if you see me out in the wild to come up, say hello, shake my hand, have a conversation with me. I love it. I love you guys. I appreciate everything. Y'all listening and doing what y'all do, commenting along with the show. It makes this job so incredibly easy. But be sure tomorrow it kicks off. Huddle up with the Morning Huddle on Radio Row for day 3.
The Sports Star Boys are in Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Robin, RJ, and Jason and Joe are in Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
woo!
I think you gonna get away with it. Not up in here.
Not